Before we begin today's show, today we want to give a big shout out to
Buzz TV. Buzz TV brings you their own spin on Android devices like the Nvidia Shield and the Amazon Fire Sticks, taking software to the next level with their own app helping you stream anything, anywhere. Buzz TV listens to you, the customers, and consistently brings you the latest and greatest when it comes to hardware, software, customer service, and experience right out of the box.
And to find their products, guys, make sure you guys do go to buzztvglobal.com.
Don't forget to click the link in the description below to get yourself the latest Android device right from Buzz TV. With all that being said, let's start the show.
And welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Streams. Today we got special guests, two guests with us today, guys. So right off the bat, before we start, make sure you guys do leave us a comment below if you are in the audio. Leave us a review, leave us a message there. We like to read them. Next Level, how are you doing today, dude?
Yo, it's been a crazy day. You've been trying to get a hold of me all day, and you were like, "Are you alive? Are you okay?" And then you finally called me like half an hour ago, and I'm like, "I'm driving." You're like, "You're driving all day?" I'm like, "I'm driving, man. Going somewhere. Got places to go."
Literally, it was literally like all day. Like, "Hey, dude, are you awake?" He's like, "No." So I waited like, I think it was like 4 hours later. How about now? No answer. I was like, dang it. So for anybody who's watching, we do have the guys from ijustwatched. So there is going to be a video coming out pretty soon. It's going to be next week. Make sure you guys do have your notifications turned on. We're going to have Junior from ijustwatched, and we're going to talk about his backstory and everything. If you guys could take turns, give us a short little blurb of who you are, what do you guys do, and yeah, that way the audience could get a feel of who you guys are.
Yeah,
you go first.
That's fine.
I'm terrible at.
I'll go first. I'm Joseph Rohas. Hey, whenever we can, we just film. I'm a huge movie buff, so it's like anything involved with filming anything is what I genuinely like to do. Started a indie film company here in Houston called Redefining Creations. Started I Just Watched with the homie here and the other homie David, and just give us an excuse to kind of talk about things we love, and we'll run with it. You know what I mean?
I'm the second half of I Just Watched, or actually more than 1/3 of I Just Watched.
Second half.
Yeah. Name's Eric. I basically just I collect movies, comics, action figures. We in our channel we do almost anything. Just anything basically you want us to react to or do, we'll probably do it.
Honestly,
we're doing unboxings right now, so that's kind of hectic because we're money wise.
yeah, you're just like oh, we want all this. How much can you afford? Like technically, like none of it.
None of
what?
it.
That's future me's problem.
We make money to move around somewhere.
Like, I don't need lights.
For sure. So Eric, I know you're gonna be I don't know if Junior has told you yet, but we did a part, so we did a two-parter for his interview. Have you told him anything, Junior, about it?
No,
you told me
very little, but
you told me you were just like, hey, my cousin's doing like an interview for my channel, and I was like, that's dope.
Yeah,
and then
pretty much it.
That's it.
Because we were supposed to hang out last week, and I was gonna like fill him in, and then because like the new job, we didn't get a chance to, and I was like, all right, cool. You know what? Next week, and then again, no chance. I was like, I'm here.
So I'll say this. Junior, don't tell him anything.
Fantastic.
Let him. He's like, dang it.
I'm off to a good start.
There's so the part one's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff that we kind of like reminisced, and then he was kind of filling us in what he's been doing. And then part two, we go full on. Well, I'll say this: we went full on Spider-Man goes John Wick style.
Yeah, for real.
We started talking about a lot of different stuff and started showing a lot of different stuff. And like I think we all totally like geeked out on a lot of comic books and cards and movies, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, if you ever like if you ever watch any of our videos, we literally just go on a tangent of just random things.
That's what I told him.
And literally, we'll talk about one thing, one topic, and then I don't know how we end up in this other topic, and then the video goes from like 15 minutes to like
40, and we're like, oh my god,
we need to stop.
I was like, we're the problem.
Yeah. So today we're gonna be talking about gaming. I know PlayStation and Xbox just literally dropped like just a week ago, and we're gonna be pulling up some numbers, some stuff. What are we excited about? I'm actually super stoked. So the first thing right off the bat, Next Level and I, we go full geek on the tech related stuff, like the hardware, the software that's in there. We start like to dissect the whole thing. And there's one thing I asked him and he didn't tell me, so I hope he actually found it. You did find it. Okay, cool. So before he tells me, so I asked him about storage space, because I'm just like, wait a minute, because PlayStation 4 had a big issue with storage space.
Yeah, a major issue.
And
that's what they came with the Pro afterwards, with the terabyte and the Slim.
Right. A lot of people don't know this, but what I did was when I picked up the PS4 on launch day, I took it home, took it apart, and then I put a 4 terabytes inside of that sucker.
Oh yeah,
I got the operating system, and I threw it in there, slapped it in, and the thing launched like nothing. Here's another thing that I'm gonna say that I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble by PlayStation, by Sony. I already took apart the PS5.
Hold up. I was like, we're still trying to get ours. Hold up. We are only semi-affiliated with him right now. Hold up.
So okay, this is what PlayStation did. They soldered on the solid state drive onto their motherboard.
Damn, they're not letting you touch that at all.
No, not at all.
They did make it where you could pop off the lid, and then there's a slot there that you can extend it. You could add another one.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you get a little message that says unplug this thing. You're not allowed to do this, pretty much. So they're limiting you. Yeah, they're limiting you until they're ready.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be one of those you need to buy it from us type of things, I'm pretty sure.
It's gonna be like one of theirs, like pre-installed, like Sony PlayStation, like slate drives or something like that.
I think the reason why they're doing that is because like we now live in basically in the new age of media and social media, and with like one instance TikTok, that you see a bunch of videos where they'll take apart PS5. I've seen people taking apart PS5s and they show everything. And it's only a matter of time before someone in Sony sees it, someone high up and sees it, and we're gonna fix this on the new generation, so that way people can't try to do anything, and then they have to come to us to spend more money.
Exactly.
And that's the issue with like having this type of this new age of social media, because anybody can see everything what you're doing, and people just post everything. And so obviously Sony or big wigs in Sony are gonna be like, nah, you coming to us for money now. So
yeah.
It is what it is.
It is. It's true. It sucks because there's gonna be some people that are gonna do some videos on it already. I was able to get my hands on the PS5 operating system, and I've already taken it out and I've already put in a new one.
Next level's like, nah.
And I have my 4 terabytes in that thing, so whatever. Screw you, Sony. I figured it out.
He's like,
I'm not giving you guys my model number for you guys to shut me down either.
Oh man.
But so I kind of did that already, and I'm super excited like that I have all this memory now without like freaking out.
Yeah.
Next level, what do you think?
It's kind of crazy. I mean, we've seen videos of people taking apart the PS5. Rohas decided to take it into his own hands and do it himself. But then on the Xbox side, we literally have people that are blowing vape smoke into the Xbox, and Xbox has to make tweets and respond to people's stupidity. Like really, what do we? You're getting a brand new system that you're probably not going to be able to buy another one, or probably even get a replacement if you brick this one until next year springtime, and you're blowing vape smoke into it because you think it's a, I don't know, it's ridiculous. But anyways, I wanted to say it was a really cool conversation that we had on the last couple episodes with Junior here from I Just Watched. One of the things that kind of stuck out to me was the before show and the after show, because that's when we really went ham. It turned into like a whole show and tell session. We're like, we got this and I got this and who's got that, and it was a really good episode. So yeah, so I'm just gonna reiterate again, make sure you check out those episodes because they were dope. But I did want to ask you guys, so we have I Just Watched and we have I Just Played, right?
Yes.
So you guys have a second channel together. It looks like you guys are just starting off that second channel. Now, because we are talking about game consoles, I do have to ask, do we have 2 PlayStation fans, 2 Xbox fans, 1 PlayStation fan, 1 Xbox fan? What's the dynamic?
It's funny. So like I can wholeheartedly tell you, like, he's definitely a PlayStation. He's a Sony pony. For sure.
I've only had Sony I've had Sony for years. Yeah, I've had PS. The only one I never actually owned was PlayStation 2. That's the only one I ever skipped. But I had the PS1, PS3, PS4, and eventually we're gonna get the PS5. But I've only
happened on the PS2. The PS2 is like the greatest.
Yeah, I know. It was funny. Like, I never had a PlayStation, the original. I had a PlayStation 2. I never had a PlayStation 3, and I got a PS4, and of course I want a PS5. But
you also want the Xbox.
I'm a bit of a hoe because I love the Xbox too. Because like my first console ever was the original Xbox. My mom got it for me, and the thing weighed like 300 tons. And it was beautiful. Once I got the crane to move it into my room, it was amazing. And I remember the first time like doing Xbox Live, like playing Halo. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. And like one of my all-time favorite games is Gears of War. So like 90% of my gaming is all Sony.
Look.
Yes, see, I found one. Because like at the end of the day, I just, when it comes to gaming, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be like on the PlayStation. But like for like if they came out with no other games but Gears, I'm getting an Xbox to play Gears. Like that's my game. The story, I love the gameplay. That's. Yeah,
there's something about the horde mode.
Because I literally just have Sony and Nintendo. All I've ever had. So Japan owns.
That in itself is a very interesting conversation because I am very much the same way. I have Xbox just because of Gears, right? And it's a very interesting topic when we get into proprietary games, right? For instance, like earlier this year, we had Microsoft buy Bethesda, right? And that used to be games that were exclusive, certain games that were exclusive to PlayStation. Now Xbox, or not Xbox, but Microsoft owns that company. So the future of gaming is kind of like, we have so many new platforms that are coming out. I mean, so many new cloud-based gaming platforms coming out as well too. Are we going to see like a free-for-all for who owns what title? Or do you think that there's going to be a lot more titles that are, across the board because of the ownership of all these companies now?
I would probably, just going off for like my super like not knowing details personality, just like, it works, I'm playing, I love it. I would say like money wise, I think you'll still get a lot of like a universal games where you can mix and match like your PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC. Like you'll still get a lot of those, but I think they're gonna try to drop 1 or 2 like big titles that are gonna be very console exclusive, just to kind of force you to one or the other, or like both in that sense.
Because it's always going to be a war between Xbox and PlayStation. It's like the only way they can get our money.
The only like right now, every game I own is on my PlayStation except for Gears. That's the only game I own from Xbox. So I think like now that you said like the Microsoft owns Bethesda, I think they're gonna drop multiple like across platform games, but I think they're gonna try to build up and drop like one huge Halo level, Gears level, like exclusive to the point where it's like if you don't have an Xbox, you kind of need one now. You kind of like just to get people like, oh, you know what? Like I kind of want one just because of that game.
Yeah.
PlayStation for me, like my favorite game was God of War. Like that's what got me hooked on PlayStation. And then I played like Sly Cooper, but God of War was like I was like, all right, I kind of need like when the PlayStation 3 came out, they had like the final God of War, and I couldn't play it. I was devastated. So when the 4 came on, they remastered it. It was like one big tear came down my cheek. I was like, they heard me. I was like, I can finally finish the story. And then they dropped the new God of War, like technically number 5, and I was like, yes, I'm ready. I have this one.
So here's an interesting, I think, introduction into talking about new gen consoles. But the current gen or past gen consoles were literally the consoles for the last decade. Legitimately, they were, right? And I think a lot of gamers started either with an Xbox or a PlayStation, and then they would move to getting a secondary. Like there was a good following that would get a secondary console. So if they started with a PlayStation, then they would buy an Xbox for those exclusives, right? Yeah. And then there was the ones that would also buy the Wii, whatever the current Wii was at that time, right? So it was kind of like a cycle that they would go through. Do you think that the ratios or the crowd is going to be following a similar form for the next decade, where people are going to be buying a PlayStation or an Xbox, and then they're going to be transforming into getting another console and another console? Because for the next decade, I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot more consoles coming out. They're going to focus a lot more on games and add-ons and downloadable content. But I also think it has something to do with availability, right? What console can you get today? What console can you get next month? And a lot of people, I think, with the stock levels from launch till now, they're going to be wanting. I mean, I went around last week and I wanted an Xbox, and every place I asked, they were like, there's a waiting list. And for the Xbox, generally the stores told me it was a 1 to 5 page waiting list. And then for the PlayStations, they would literally tell me it was 10 to 50 pages for a waiting list. And if I was a PlayStation pony, like you call it, I would probably grab an Xbox until I could get my hands on a PlayStation and then sell the Xbox for a PlayStation. Yeah. So what's kind of your views? Like, would you follow the same kind of footsteps, or would you be waiting until you can get your hands on a PlayStation first? Or what are you guys planning on doing for these next gen consoles?
To be honest, so like personally, because like I agree, I think it is going to fall into like that similar situation. Because like, I mean, the Switch has been out for a while, but like they just kind of like revamped it with, was it like the Switch U or like the
Switch Lite? But it was supposed to be a revamp, but it's literally just a smaller version of what you get. It's
kind of like what they usually do.
It's nothing. It's nothing special, to be honest.
But I think combination with that,
what Nintendo does is they just keep doing more add-ons to the actual Switch that they have right now. They'll add more like usually like larger controllers now. You can actually get an actual controller to use that you can play on the TV, and then like other stuff for other games like to interact more. It's literally just kind of like a Wii,
pretty much
a Wii game or like a Wii system.
Yeah, because I mean that's how I had a Wii,
but I don't see Nintendo making anything more, because this is basically their handheld and their actual console for the TV as well.
I think between the three, between the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and the Switch, I think those are going to be like your main three that are going to get tossed around. I think in between you'll get sprinkles of like, I mean, it's probably not what they're going to call it, but you'll get like a PS5 Slim like in a year and a half from now or something like that, or you'll get the Series
or a Pro,
or like the Xbox Series XX or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing out BS, but like,
double X.
Yeah, I know, a double X, like 20. Like, wait, what?
Because what I used to do is I never really bought the first PS4. I never really bought it. When the PS3 and the PS4 first came out, I never bought the first that first generation of that first gen console.
Yeah.
I waited a little bit, usually because I was broke, mostly because I was broke, couldn't afford it.
Not because we wanted to.
Not because we wanted to, it's because I was broke. And then they would come out, they would announce like, oh, we're making like PlayStation
Pro,
said
Slim.
PlayStation said we're making a Pro, which can push 4K and it has a terabyte. And now we're launching the Slim, which is a terabyte.
Yeah.
And I got the Slim because it's a terabyte, and when I got it, it was actually really cheap. And same thing with I think Xbox is the same thing.
Yeah, because you had like the Xbox One, then you had the Xbox One S.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because like, so I got the PS4 like a few months after it came out, so I got like the big fat one. And then I didn't get an Xbox right away again because broke status. But then by the time I finally went to get it, they had dropped the Xbox One S, and that was a true 4K player. And being the movie buff that I am, I have a 4K TV, but I had no way of utilizing it. So when that dropped, I was like, yes. I scooped that up and like dead ass. It's a 4K DVD player, and when I want to play Gears, I'm like Gears.
Because I like Next Level said, like I think it is gonna still follow the same path where it's
I think so because
availability basically. It's availability. So if like you said, there was like a 50 pages wait list for a PS5, but you can actually get the Xbox
right now.
Series like much quicker. People are gonna end up getting that, and even people who like never really bought Xbox, they might even just betray Sony a little bit just to get it so they can play new games. Because like I want to play Valhalla so bad, and I might even do the same thing and be like, I'm a cheat, Sony. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna dip my toe in the side piece pool for a little bit.
But I think it's still gonna follow the same thing where it's just availability is gonna happen, and then like if people can't get a certain console, they'll get to the next one and then probably either trade it in, or maybe they end up loving that console and they just end up keeping that one and buying a PlayStation because. People do that. Right? People own two consoles, and then you can play Gears of War.
Yes,
and then you can play God of War. Just
as long as I can play war game.
We're looking at a situation of supply and demand could actually win over certain fanboys.
Definitely, I think so. Because I mean,
this is an opportunity, right?
Exactly. Because I mean, like you said, like so. Like obviously, like I want to play the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Obviously, that's Sony exclusive. But like you said, like I want to like Valhalla is like a must.
And Valhalla's for both consoles.
And then Cold War is another one that seems interesting, and that's for both.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're already out. So like you said, like availability wise, I'm like, well, I want to play these now. I don't want to wait. I can get Xbox like in a week. Sign me up.
Exactly.
Versus I can get a PlayStation in a month. I'm gonna take this here, and then I'm gonna get that later. So I think that's going to trickle into like, I feel like especially with this one, because like when they started dropping specs and like capabilities, they're both pretty naked. Like they're both capable of some crazy stuff. And then overall, like at a nitpick, like the design wise, I like the design of the Xbox a little bit more because they're not even lying. They're like, look, it's a tower. Like this is what it is. It's basically a computer.
It's a tower.
Here. And the PS5, like they were going for like the modern design for a modern home. And I'm like, 9 out of 10 people who buy this don't have a modern home, bro. We just want a system that works.
the trash can. It's not a tower. It's a trash can.
See, the PS5 looks like Stell's head.
Yeah. Like all the memes that came out with it. But like at the end of the day, as long as it performs and like just seeing like little gameplays that they did, I'm just like,
because I actually did I did research with while you were with me about which had better like things and everything.
Yeah.
I basically had the same thing except that Xbox actually does have a better graphics card than PlayStation. I don't think it's not by a lot. I think it's probably
it was like if we remember, it was like
frames.
Yeah, it was a couple points,
a couple of frames more, much faster than the PS5.
And then from what I remember, it was like the PlayStation had like the standard one comes with like 800 something for the solid state drive, where the solid state drive on the Xbox was 1 terabyte.
Mm-hmm.
But the drive on the PlayStation, like I guess, operated a little bit faster. Like that's all. I don't really know specs and stuff like that.
When it comes to specs,
I can read.
Yeah, no, I can read the shit and then Google it. That's helped me a lot.
Then I'm gonna text Steve, be like, "Hey, yo, Steve, I read it. I shouldn't have. I should just texted you and be like, so which one's better? Because I know you already read it, and I could have avoided this whole situation."
So it's funny that you guys are talking about availability, which we will get into the conversation on that in a minute. And the first thing I want to talk about is the specs itself right off the bat. So
you lost me there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pull out my phone. Like, hold on. He's
Hold
talking.
on a second.
Oh, we got you. We got you. Don't worry. We got you.
Yeah, we got you guys. So
I didn't spoke Latin.
Nah, bro, that's a dead language. Much
so
deader.
right off the bat, they're both listed. So okay. So if anybody's asking, the we're not even going to talk about the Series S because that's not even in the same conversation as the PlayStation 5, disc or discless, and the Series X.
Yeah.
The Series S is just, I don't know what, like, I'm not even going to start on that conversation. So we're not even going to talk about it.
It was like when they first started coming out with iPhones, you had like the new iPhone, and then you had like the iPhone E,
Yeah.
which like two iPhones old, but just operated just a little bit better. Yeah, it's like here, you broke people.
Yeah, for real.
Over here, like,
Now-
can I have some more, please?
So looking at the price, if you're looking at the price, the PS5 with the disc is 500,
Yes.
Yeah.
and the Series X is also 500.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Okay, the digital PS5 is 400,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much the difference.
Yeah.
When one's with a disc, one's without. As far as the guts, the play, when I say PlayStation, it's going to be for the digital edition and the disc, so they're both identical. If I'm saying Xbox again, I'm only talking about the Series X.
Yeah.
So for the CPUs, we're talking about 8-core, both of them 8 cores. They both got the AMD Zen 2. One PlayStation is running at 3.5 gigahertz, while Xbox is running at 3.8.
Mhm.
So it's slightly clocked just a tad bit higher, the Xbox. When we're looking at GPUs, PlayStation has 10.3 teraflops, while Xbox Series X has 12.0 teraflops, both
That's what
AMD RDNA. Huh?
That's what I was talking about. When I first started researching, that's what I saw. I was like 10.28. I was like, cool. 13. Hold on.
It's just a slight little edge. Now with okay, so before I get to the rest of it, I will say this. There's been several people that have already run speed tests and benchmarks. They've been running several things, and the PlayStation has been doing almost identical of what the Xbox has been doing. Sometimes Xbox wins, sometimes PlayStation wins.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that Next Level and I have been talking about, and just from hearing other YouTubers, PlayStation went into their guts and optimized everything. They're like, we don't need to put 12 teraflops. We're going to put the 10.3 and it's going to run optimized.
Yeah.
So that's why everything is just right there. You know, as the normal end user, like us gamers, we're really not going to know like the difference on them once you have your one console in front of the other.
Yeah.
But when you do put them side by side, you're going to see a lot of YouTube videos right now that are like, okay, I could see more details on this one than I can on this one. For me, I felt personally, just from looking at the reviews, just based on the CPU, GPU, it like, you know, you could see the sweat, you could see the freaking freckles, you could see all that stuff. But for the PlayStation, for some reason, and you know what I actually did this. I covered the top part of my screen so I didn't see if it was from PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let me just give myself like the most unbiased. Let me just see which one's better. And sometimes I picked left, sometimes I picked right. I picked left a grit more times than I did right. And the left ended up being PlayStation while the right was Xbox. Xbox for me looked slightly washed. Like you can see details and stuff like that, but it was slightly washed, you know? PlayStation, it just was just like, holy crap, dude. That's like, I could see the guy's pores. Like, what the hell, you know?
Like he needs a shower.
It's like, so when it comes to RAM, they're both 16 gigs, GDDR6. The storage. Oh, well, before I get that, resolution, both up to 8K, frame rate, both up to 120. And optical both got the 4K. Storage, next level. I know I asked you with what is available storage, 825 gigs on the PlayStation with 1 terabyte on the Xbox. So I think PlayStation, you're left with like 600 something. Do you know what the actual number is?
I think it's like 667 or something like that. Yeah.
All right. What about Xbox?
Any different from
Xbox, you're looking at about 802.
So about 150. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, I got to do the math on this one. So
you're looking at like a difference of about 2 or 3 games, realistically.
Roughly.
Right. But so 1 terabyte. Hold on, 1 terabyte.
I'm not even including the games that are free to play, and they take a shit ton of memory.
Yep. So you're saying 195 gigs. You lose 195 gigs off of the Xbox after their software updates. And for the other one, you said it was
667.
It's 100 and you lose 158 gigs, which means PlayStation, you're losing less on their software versus Xbox.
But I mean, okay, so
that's a game. That the difference on that, I know we're talking about how much storage you're gonna have, but to me, that just reads that PlayStation's actually taking care of their operating system, so you don't have too much bloatware.
Yes and no. So even from the previous generation of Xboxes, Xbox had this bloated idea that we weren't just a gaming console.
Yeah.
We are an entertainment system. And because of that, there will be more to their operating system, naturally.
Yeah. So on the PlayStation side, I know they have a new media tab. I don't know if you guys have seen the interface on it. Oh my gosh. Okay. When you guys can Google this, it's their PlayStation's interface. They have a tab for games, and they have if you hit the PlayStation button, you have all these little shortcuts at the bottom. And you could mute notifications, or you can mute chats. You could be online without showing that you're online, like a ghost mode.
Yeah.
There's different cards that you could read. You could jump into certain parts of the games. It's insane what they're doing. But I at first thought this whole new interface is so much different and bigger than what they had for PS4, and I was actually worried. I thought that number was gonna be a lot different, way different. So yes, Xbox is more of an entertainment center, but you can get entertainment streaming apps off of your PlayStation. And also with smart things, you can connect that thing to your Amazon devices, your Google devices. You could set that thing up to say, hey, Alexa. Oh, sorry if I turn anybody's devices on. We call her Juanita, by the way. And there's your cat. Did you choreograph that one?
The chowder's a little retarded, so I can't even lie.
He's a little cross-eyed.
Yeah.
We got him from the streets.
Shoot.
He just wants. He's like, someone love me,
Please.
So I'm kind of, I don't know. I think to me, looking at this, it's so neck and neck and so close, with some of that power that they have. And I think it's just going to come to the end of the day, how much detail do you really want to see,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next level, what do you think?
So I like specs just as much as the next tech YouTuber, let's say. But at the end of the day, what is written on paper and what comes to performance are two completely different things. So when we look at, for instance, when we were looking at, how many teraflops each platform has, one of the reasons why the PlayStation is so big is because of the cooling. It has a lot more cooling that goes into it. The fans are bigger to cool the actual system. So if the system is running cooler, can it not perform better? Right? But I mean, that 10 teraflops could perform just as good as a 12 teraflop, especially when it's optimized with a faster hard drive, right? So that's where you're going to get the systems to perform very, very similar. Sometimes it'll be better. Sometimes it might be a little bit worse. But when we're talking about, next gen consoles and we talk about worse isn't really something that we're going to be like, this console sucks. Like, I would rather ditch this and go to a jump ship and jump to the next Wii or something like that. It's not going to be like that. But when we man, like, specs is one thing. I think that there's going to be, maybe more of a push as the years go forward, well before we even start talking about another next gen console, where maybe storage isn't such a big conversation anymore. I mean, Xbox is already talking about their next streaming device, not even an actual console itself, but an actual streaming game device where you don't need local storage. So I don't know where we're going to go, because we have companies like Seagate and Western Digital that produce external hard drives. So people who don't want to be like this guy over here can actually plug in an external hard drive. They have stuff that go all the way up to 12 terabytes if you want, right? Yeah. But I'm not sure.
Right here.
Right, 12 terabytes. But that 12 terabyte that you have is actually a mechanical drive. So you're not going to get the same speeds that you're going to get from the internal drives on the new consoles. So there's so many different ways that this all can go. But I do believe, at least I can only assume, but the minor differences that you see right now in regards to one console being better than another in certain situations, or if Rojas is looking at the videos side by side and he's saying the Xbox appears to be a little bit more washed out, we also have to understand this is day zero. This is launch day. And no matter the tech that comes out, launch day, there's always software optimizations, right? We look at things like cell phones. The Google Pixel 2, I don't want to get too far off topic, but the Google Pixel 2 to the Google Pixel 5 has the exact same camera in it. The only difference that you see is software optimizations, and maybe they'll change like the glass on it or something. They'll maybe make the aperture a little bit bigger or smaller. But a lot of these tech companies will reuse the same hardware and just optimize the actual software so that it can produce or perform better, right? So right now, launch day, we might see certain consoles performing better at certain situations. But as I think the next decade goes forward and we're optimized better, we'll definitely see a more level playing field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you always have, like, no matter what, like you said, like, launch date, there's always going to be bugs. Just say, you know what I mean, to put it in like simple terms, no matter what, there's always going to be something that's going to have to get dealt with. So like you said, like, little by little, you just see the progression through updates or through whatever, and you'll just start to see like
that's what we have updates.
the real difference. And then, like I said, a year and a half from now, we're going to get the new one, which is like the same stuff, but now it's like they know how to tweak it even better. And I'm just like, man, I got to go spend more money.
Yeah, because they'll do that. They'll just eventually just come up with another system with more optimized features, and it'd probably be like 3, 4, 5 years from when the launch date of the original comes out.
Yeah,
and the games are also gonna do everything on their end, because like a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now, I want to say when you look at both platforms when it comes to what the gaming industry is currently doing to offer these consoles, I think everybody has failed so far. I don't think anybody was really truly ready to say, hey, we're going to come up with a grip ton of games that are going to push 120 hertz and they're going to do all this stuff. Like, PlayStation doesn't even have that turned on right now, because there isn't anything out there right now that actually does it. There's been some optimizations. Like, I've been able, I played the Final Fantasy VII, the remake on it. Jeez, this thing looks incredible on this thing. And I'm like, let me try the new Fortnite on the PS5. And I'm like, this is a whole different game now. Like, it just looks so much cleaner. The details are insane. And I think I have a feeling it's going to take about a year, or we're going to start seeing it within a year. Yeah. Where all these gaming companies are going to start to optimize stuff on their end to be like, hey, this is available. Cool. We're going to be ready.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll definitely see.
No, I agree. I think the genuine, like, I know we had like the platform launch games, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like Valhalla, this Cyberpunk. But I agree. I think like in the next year or so, you'll start to see like the true games that are actually going to be able to take advantage of what these consoles like already offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll start to see that more
because it does seem like these like it does seem like the consoles themselves, like when they announced that they were making these new consoles, I think gaming industry itself wasn't, like you said, wasn't prepared for it at all. Not like before with PlayStation and Xbox, where they were like, hey, within this many years we're gonna launch this new system. I mean, that's the idea. I think that's how it would have went, and that way, you know, gaming companies can actually be like, okay,
match it.
let's prepare, let's match to it. That way, whenever it gets released, we have this brand new game to, you know, push out the specs, as to say it.
Maybe they were too busy suing each other. We had, you know, Epic suing Sony and Sony suing Epic, and this one suing this one. They're too busy playing in the sandbox. But yeah, so talking about some of the older games, we're starting to see, like he's saying, Fortnite is a completely different game right now, right? He's a completely different game right now. So what I'm seeing is a lot of the games are getting pushed up to 60 frames a second and 4K resolution, right? So it's nice that those games can be upscaled and be brought into more of a modern day age.
Right. Yeah. So before we really get into the gaming part of it, there's one more thing I did want to talk about, which was availability. I know once we start talking about games, the next question is what's available, you know? So these are just raw numbers. The only numbers that haven't been officially posted as of today. And people are going to say like, you're wrong, because they might be watching this in the future. So we were recording this on November 18th of 2020. It's currently, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. So calm the hell down, Karen, and sit down. So these are the numbers of today. Anything US is not posted. There's like no actual numbers. It's all like we're projecting this is what's going to happen. For the numbers that I've been pulling on Fortune, on Bloomberg, on like I pulled like a whole bunch of sites to find anything, even direct sites. And the only thing that I found is that they're projecting, Microsoft is projecting 2 million devices to be on sale between launch to the end of the year. When it comes to PlayStation, they're actually projecting 4 million based on what's been happening with their sales. Now, with that being said, I know people are going to be like, well, if it's less on the Xbox side, why is there an availability, right? I think PlayStation knocked it out of the water with the PS4. I think what they did was just on launch, like just from launch day, everything that they had was incredible. They also had a hell of a lot more devices available on PS4 than what they have right now. Right now is just a shit show for PlayStation. They were even, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are making like memes, like saying, hey, Xbox. So it's an Xbox girl and a PlayStation girl. And the PlayStation girl was like, hey, Xbox, how was your party? And she was like, well, it was all right. You know, we had a couple of people coming in. And she's like, I know, snooze fest. Like nobody showed up. Nobody like you guys didn't go as crazy as the PlayStation did. How everybody was freaking, you know, you go online, PlayStation 5, $35,000 on eBay. It's like, what the hell? It's just been, it's been a madhouse. So these are raw numbers, and these are raw numbers from Japan. Sony made, because, you know, of course, we're in this whole COVID thing. For Japan, they fell hella short when it came to production. So they were trying to push a lot of stuff in the States because they know how big Japan and the States are. They made 118,000 units for Japan and sold out. That's it. 118,000. For Xbox, they made 23,000 for Japan. That was on launch day. That's what came out on launch day. and it was actually no, I lied. 12, 13, 14, 3 days, within 3 days of sales.
Oh wow.
That's what happened in Japan, where
Jesus.
and then what they're saying too was they're saying that PlayStation, because they didn't have everything that they needed, and neither did Xbox. But they're mainly picking on PlayStation because PlayStation's so big in Japan that they said that that this number is a fourth of what they normally would have sold in Japan because of COVID.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because I mean this whole pandemic has just screwed everybody over, and that's the reason why availability is just so scarce on basically anything nowadays. And I mean you see it like everywhere. When you order stuff on Amazon, it's like it just takes a while for it to get here. And I mean, hopefully soon we'll get past this. But as of right now, I mean, we're just gonna have to play the waiting game until we can actually get our hands on one of these consoles, and hope for the best. Because I mean, those numbers are ridiculous. Just like you said, 23,000 just for Japan.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But I mean, you can only do so much with the situation we are right now. So you really can't blame these corporations because I mean, they have to shut down certain factories.
Yeah.
And maybe certain parts that are made in certain other factories got to be shut down as well. So it's understandable, and people shouldn't really get upset about it because they need to know the situation we're in right now.
And people are pissed. They're like you see people putting on comments, this is the biggest shit show, this is the worst launch ever, this is that, this is this, and it's just like, but people, do you guys understand that there's no assembly line, there's no production, there's a freaking pandemic going, it's there, everything is shut down. And because a lot of our tech comes from China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, it's like, are you kidding me? It's like, no, they're not. They're like, here's another interesting thing that's slightly, well, it's on topic but slightly off topic. As you guys know, we're getting a nasty surge of viruses right now. The numbers are going up. I went to look. There's a website, I think it's called like Live Stats or something like that. And this guy, what he does, he grabs all the numbers from all over the world wherever they report it, throw it into Excel, and then he's got a chart that it updates. Like I think it's like every 5 to 10 minutes it'll update. And it'll show you all the real numbers. All the Asian countries that have this tech stuff, they were literally this was this was March, April, May, June, July. It stayed like this, where it wasn't climbing anymore.
Yeah.
It just like that, and then all this stuff about consoles and all this stuff that they were talking about, pre-orders and all that stuff. In September, it went like this all of a sudden.
Trying to get back to work to get all this stuff taken care of, because I mean,
gotta keep consumer happy, and then you also have to make money off of these consumers, so you have to risk it for the biscuit, I guess.
I guess that's a good one. I like that.
Sometimes it just backfires, and the next thing you know, you got more cases, and then you got to shut down again. So that's capitalism at its best.
Means I have to wait longer. I was like, like with my selfish ass. I mean,
but now I can save more.
I kind of feel like it's a double-edged sword though, too, right? So it's like, yes, how much can we safely produce? But how much do we think in this time of economic crisis will we actually sell over the next short period of time, right? And I think a lot of companies are short-sighted in regards to what the consumer budget is at this time, because they're seeing everybody's home. People don't have a lot of liquid finances right now, their assets or whatever you want to call them, but at the same time, they're home. So by all means necessary, they're going to try to entertain themselves while they're home. They may skip that, Burger King meal for the next week if they can grab themselves a PlayStation or an Xbox, or even trying to find a decent webcam right now, right? Because everyone's doing Skype and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's
we also have to understand, yes, there's people don't necessarily have the same kind of finances as last year or the last gen console, but you know, people like to be entertained, and we're going to find by any means necessary to entertain ourselves while we're home because we're home more.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like double-edged, like is the best way to put it, because like we're stuck at home, less money, but more time. So like now it's like it's the weird moment where like this is the perfect time to have it because you can use it, but at the same time it's the worst time because you can't really go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's mad demand, but we can't supply it at the moment.
Yeah. And I think it's, you know, when you guys are saying about for PlayStation, I'm gonna have to wait like a month or two to get it. With Xbox, it's like I gotta wait a week. Okay, I'll get the Xbox for now, and then
because I mean, like we said, like the only actual game that's coming out for a PlayStation 5 that's
now?
exclusive is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have games like Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077, Cold War, and I think maybe like two other games that I don't know off the top of my head right now.
And I know they remastered like NBA 2K21.
Exactly. So
like
and those are for both consoles. So you
Borderlands.
basically reiterating the same thing is, you know, some people will jump and go to a different console if it's available to them, you know.
Yeah. No,
And
for real. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No, that was it.
That's it. So this is now towards the end of the show. We've been talking a lot about a lot of stuff. So I hope everybody.
Y'all can't be ready.
I hope everybody out there, if they don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox, make sure you do. Just keep your eyes out. There's always announcements on when something's gonna drop and when it'll be available. So just keep in mind when that does happen. But before we end the show, there's a couple things we do. We always let our guest, you guys, whatever you guys want to say, go ahead and say whatever you guys want. If you guys want to promote yourselves, shout yourselves out, whatever you guys want, take the platform, go for it.
Right off the back, I gotta say it again. Thank you for having both of us, for having me again. For dealing with me again. Y'all didn't take enough punishment the first time, so thank you. And then generally just thanks for like, you know, having the open conversation, because like I generally have a really like a fun ass time talking with y'all, because like we're like different, but we have enough similarities where we can just like go and like that's what I love to do. This is like those late night conversations by the table outside over a beer type thing. Just virtual table, virtual real beer. No, just
absolutely.
Thank you for having us. Definitely, whoever's listening, continue checking out Beyond the Stream. Check out Next Level. Check out Rohas. If you get a sec, check out I Just Watched with me and Eric, me and David. We appreciate any and all love that we receive. And again, thank you to both of y'all for having me, for having us. And at the end of the day, just, you know, putting up with the shenanigans that is me.
No, it's me now?
I mean,
I'm
no pressure. Just say something.
I'm never ready for these. No, thanks once again. Thanks once again, Rohas, for having us both. Thanks, Next Level, to having this chat with you. I really liked having this. I've never done this before, so this is my first time, and I'm nervous as hell all the time. I am very antisocial, so this is like baby steps for me, you know. But thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for dealing with this retard right here.
I can say it though.
No, I say it too. Definitely check out Rojas. Definitely check out Next Level. And when you get a chance, check out I Just Watched and our second channel, I Just Played. And big shout out to Rojas for having us in this live stream. And shout out to Next Level. Nice meeting you. And I think that's all I got for me.
Yeah, dude.
You don't get much. That was my 120 characters.
I'm 120 characters. But I'll top it off again. Thank y'all. Like, I feel like, I mean, Steve, like, I mean, you don't have a choice. We're family. like at least Next Level is kind of like once or twice a year, bro. That's it. Steve's kind of like, dude, I know, I wish. Like now I can be like, yeah, dude, I know people in Canada. I know, but like, hold up. Hey, yo, Steve, tell Next Level to say that he knows me. So So I can prove a point.
Like a prove a point.
You know, it's really awesome that we got to have you guys back on again. We've had an awesome conversation, you know, about everything from movies, comics, game consoles, nostalgia to future consoles that are coming, kind of our perspectives in regards to where we've come from in regards to our gaming experiences and maybe where a lot of people are going in the future. These conversations are always a way of learning from each other, about each other, and really getting to know the people that are a part of the community. So it's an awesome way that we can really connect communities together. A lot of the people that follow us for a way to watch TV shows and movies, or maybe even coming soon, a way to stream games on cloud-based services. But connecting with you guys from I Just Watched and I Just Played is a really good transition or a really good handoff for people who are looking for more in-depth content or more in-depth things that might interest them in those fields themselves. Like, we're showing them the door. We're like, this is how you get there. But these guys could tell you what might be interesting that you haven't heard of when you pass that door, when you cross that threshold, right? So I really do hope that you guys keep doing what you guys do. Honestly, you guys have a really good dynamic. So don't stop what you guys do. Keep working on both channels. And if you guys can't afford the next gen console, then start a channel called I Just Wish, and you can talk about all consoles that you wish you had. So hey.
Like this, hey, disclaimer. You're gonna hear it, like everything sounds super groggy. It's not the mic. It's just that I haven't stopped crying. I
thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. And I really do hope to have more of these because I actually enjoyed this a lot. And it's, to me, in a sense, it helps me get out of my shell. And it helps me to actually talk more because I do enjoy talking. I spend hours with him talking about video games, consoles, movies, comics, anything and everything we always talk about. So I do appreciate it. I would appreciate it if you do bring me back if you're not done with me. Fuck you. That's why I have these problems.
He's all like, this is why I got a Twitch.
this is why I got
I was like, see, I can only like a little bit. If not, you're gonna break out, and then I'm gonna be alone. So now I gotta babysit it, bro.
Gotta keep me.
No, for sure. It's you know, on Beyond the Streams and having you guys here on the channel. We just want to thank you guys once again. It's great to have these conversations, and it's really cool to keep up with like current events, with what's happening. And you know, we all have a common thing here is, you know, we like to game, we like to have fun, we like to just enjoy that, like, you know, even if it's a nostalgia, if it's an old game, new game, future gaming, you know, we all have something in common. So again, I just want to say thank you. And for anybody out there listening, make sure you guys do check the description below. We will put the links for the YouTube channels. That way you guys could check it out, and that way you guys could follow them on all the different platforms. If you are listening to us in the audio in the different podcast platforms, or if you're on YouTube, make sure you leave us a comment below, leave us a review, hit the thumbs up, do whatever it takes to get our attention. And, you know, we always read you guys' comments, so we really, truly appreciate you guys. With all that being said, one of the last things we say here is you guys take care, and you take care of each other.
And stay humble and be patient, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.